good afternoon. We are just 12, so very good afternoon to all of you. Already we are too late, so this session I am also chairing. So what happened? So I would like to request to all the speakers to please restrict with the time. I will try to restrict myself also. And as Professor Patnaik told that, especially I returned to India just to collaborate with the several institutes to work with our own visions and to give the suggestions what I am feeling. This special talk, what I am seeing from the rest 15 years of my experience in research, the maximum people we are talking for the basic research or some advanced research, but how we can approach to the end users. So this special talk I have privileged to give for the how we can apply the space technology applications, especially for the satellite images for the end users. And maybe you are knowing in USA there is one city name known as the New Orleans, and that is shrinking 6 millimeter per year. So that is a very big problem for all over the world. And this is a special talk, and this project I got from the Canadian Space Agency. And all over the world there are 14 member team, and they are working how we can monitor the shrinking effect which is going to be affect the New Orleans city. So my basic talk, it is not a very difficult, I have not made like that. Very basic thing, how we are thinking with the different opinion, how we can solve the very important problem in millimeter, in the range of the millimeter. So as we are knowing that the topic is space technology, means here the satellite images I will prefer. Change detection monitoring of Earth surface, I am Dharmen Singh, working as associate professor. I have developed one lab. I have just joined the IIT Roorkee 4 years before. I have developed one lab, space technology application lab, and several projects are there. So outline of the talk, because first 4 points are very important. What is the space technology for Earth surface? What is the synthetic aperture radar? A lot of places nowadays in Chandrayaan, or I am also engaged with the Chandrayaan. I am one of the key members for the Chandrayaan. A lot of places we are listening synthetic aperture radar, satellite images and all other things. So just I will give some basic glimpse why we are using the word SAR instead of RAR, real aperture radar, why synthetic aperture radar. Land subsidence, this is one of the most applicable part for this talk. Objective of present talk, study area I have taken New Orleans, USA, but now I am working for the Jharia region in Jharkhand also. There is the same problem. The city is not sinking, but a lot of subsidence are there. So I am trying to develop one user-friendly prototype satellite-based software which can be used by any CMRI or any coalfield company. Land surface subsidence, satellite data used, techniques, surface change detection, and the most interesting. Therefore, I came here because a lot of places in India, very few people are working with the SAR interferometry. So I just want to give a glimpse how does with the SAR interferometry, with the satellite, that is the 300 kilometer to 800 kilometer far from the Earth, we are able to estimate the changes in the millimeter range. For example, I had recorded the changes up to the 6 millimeter or 8 millimeter. So I am very much interested to show this part. I will try to cover in 20 minutes, little bit fast, less than 20 minutes. So space technology, simply either satellite based or shuttle based or air. So the most important thing with the existing one, for taking the data from the each point, it is very cumbersome. So now all of us, we are very much interested to get all the data, all the things from the space, either it is airborne. Earlier in 1970s they have started with the airborne, then shuttle, now it is the satellite. So the most interesting word, that is SAR, everywhere, every time you are listening, the synthetic aperture radar. As I have asked one question, the resolution is one of the biggest problem. How we can get the better resolution. Now if we are talking, if we can detect a person or heartbeat, it is a live person or dead target or live target with the heartbeat, and for that detection it is very important at the resolution. So once we are talking about the real aperture, so resolution, for getting resolution up to the 10 meter or 20 meter, a real aperture antenna should be in 40 meter or 60 meter, so this is a big problem. To put that huge antenna in the satellite. So this is a synthetic aperture radar synthesizing the signal by the signal processing methods. So this is one of the major advantages of the SAR, that we can get very good resolution in few meters. Now what I am working here for the radar set image, it is something like a 20 meter by 20 meter. Then again, microwave has its own advantage. In India, still we don't have any microwave satellite. In 2008, we are proposing to launch a satellite, RISAT, radar image satellite. Still, in that team also I am there. So what you are listening for the optical wave, we are getting Iconos is there. That is the best one. We are getting the resolution up to the 50 centimeter or 100 centimeter. But they have a very big limitations. So therefore, this is new word, synthetic aperture radar. We are working for that. And microwave, if anybody will ask why we are using microwave, that is the most important thing. It is approximately, except some windows, it is approximately totally transparent in the medium. Totally transparent in the medium, we don't have to take care of the weather, sun effect, this effect, that effect. Directly we can apply that. That is the most interesting and important thing for the microwave. Some windows are there, for example 22 to 22 gigahertz, water absorptions are there or something are there. So we are avoiding this one. So again, temporarily acquired SAR images can be used to measure changes occurred, because here I am much more interested in the changes due to the earthquake, land subsidence, etc. So application efforts for the ground truth measurements of land subsidence. We are knowing that land subsidence means if something is sinking, so what the rest part is coming out or what the ashes is coming out. So that is the thing. The most interesting thing, once we are trying to get a changes due to the nature, so we are putting some landmark. How the geology people or geography people are marking it, just they are putting some landmark. After 1 year, after 6 months, they are going to see the landmark, either some changes are there or something is there or not. Sometimes what happens, this is a very important thing, the benchmarks of the measurements are also shrinking. If it is also shrinking, then then you don't have any reference. So that is the biggest problem. And in this talk, I will try to explain monitors abroad aircrafts and satellite reveal much that cannot be discovered through the surface-based techniques. So objective of the present talk. There are two approaches by which we can, first, with the various satellite images, we have to observe either there are some strong changes, because we are taking the observation from the 300 to 800 kilometer far from the Earth's surface. So it is very important to know what the results we are getting by any process, either it is correct or not correct. And then it is adaptive or not adaptive. Maybe with two images you got some results. It is very much possible with any filtering, with any image processing techniques, but either it is adaptive or not. So there are two very basic approach. One is the quantitatively. I am very much interested in the quantitatively approach. How much it is, 6 millimeter, 2 millimeter, 10 millimeter, 1 meter, doesn't matter, but how much it is. So quantitatively, and then the qualitatively, I will show you some results, how we are measuring first qualitatively the change. And I have taken the study area of New Orleans city of USA, and this is one of the major problem of the world, why city is sinking, how we can monitor. I am from the diagnosis part, I am not the prevention part. I just can give the city is sinking, the preventive people can work there, how they can prevent the sink or how they can do other things. In classical approach, there are two approaches mainly used, mean ratio detector and correlation coefficient. So I have seen one talk before that. The window for any image processing thing, window is very useful thing. So once you are varying the window 3 by 3, 5 by 5, 7 by 7, 9 by 9, maybe you are getting the better and better results. But the most interesting thing, how you, for any, because what we are doing then, we are tuning our window to get our results. But with the satellite images, we cannot do like that for the application, for the end user. So we have to optimize the window also. For this kind of image, for this kind of features, what should be the optimized window size? So directly you can apply 7 by 7 window. No need to tune as required by your result, and then you can go for that. So therefore, window is applied for the image per computer changes. For dependent on size of window applied, then we have applied one principal component analysis, because why we are interested in that, a lot of methods are there. Why we are, once we have a more than 5 or 6 parameters which we have to accumulate then we have to think, because all are interrelated. For example, if changes are there, maybe some scattering parameter will be changed in satellite images. Due to the some moisture also, it will change. So we have to accumulate. Then PCA is one of the best that gives the flavor which parameter, first 3 parameter or first 2 parameter, which is more dependent for your any changes or anything. So we have applied, and as I have mentioned, this is the very interesting interferometric technique by which in class 12 already we have read phi is equal to 2 pi by lambda into path difference. With the phase we can know the path difference. Path difference is the change. I will show you something very basic, and then you can understand with this, if you are able to measure the phase with that accuracy, then we can measure the path difference. That is, path difference is the changes in any height in any 3-dimensional. So this is my main objective of the talk. So this is the New Orleans, USA, southeastern Louisiana along with the Mississippi River of USA. I will show you some results. This is the aerial image by the Google, because I have not gone there, so I have taken this image as a reference image. The most important thing, city is approximately 907 km square. All these things are the geographical. Average rate of subsidence minus 9.16 millimeter per year. And you can see that this is the lake, this is the river, this is the photograph taken by the aerial. This is the aerial photograph taken by the any airborne sensor. And these are the things. So once we are talking about the subsidence, if city is shrinking, you can see that city will sink with the not the permanent scatter. City will sink nearby. This is a very thumb rule. Nearby the water bodies, or nearby the water body, nearby the lake, or nearby the things. So we will see that how it will happen. So generally, this is not my topic of the geology, but people used to ask, what is the reason to shrink any city? Maybe as a thumb rule, first is the water. Maybe a lot of water inside the earth, so maybe due to that the shrinking is there. So there is a groundwater withdrawal from the Aestian aquifers, drainage of organic soils for development, loading and land surfaces. So these are 4 or 5 reasons which are reported in several journals, and that may be one of the reasons. So this is the natural level of mean annual subsidence rates from 1985 to 1991. It is reported by the several journals. These are the main for the soil, for the levee deposit, for the lake. So these are the subsidence. Now, my research point, which kind of satellite data, because we are very much limited that what kind of satellite data is available for us. We cannot make a satellite, because anybody can ask why you have worked with the 5.6 gigahertz, why we have, 5.3 gigahertz. It is not our hand. It is decided by the rest world community, and then we are working for that. So you can see that polarization is one of the bigger effect. I will not discuss today. HS polarization, this is the radar set. It is a one satellite, and the specification is HS polarization. Frequency is approximately 5.3 gigahertz. Only one thing about frequency I can say that if we are going to the lower frequency, then penetration is more, because we are very much interested to see the what is the undercover after the trees or any crop or anything. So therefore this frequency band is optimized for this type of satellite. Resolution is, you can see that 20 by 27 meters square. So what we have done, we have acquired, because data is very expensive. The CSA has provided a project approximately rupees 1 crore. 74 data sets from the June 2000 to March 2007 have been analyzed. Images were selected. So I will discuss all the images, because image has their low quality or higher quality. One question I want to ask, but I didn't ask. Once we are trying to define, we are removing the noise. We are increasing the SNR, or we are removing the noise. So we have to fix some image quality. What kind of image quality we need? So some quantitative measure should be there. By seeing that, we cannot say that it is either very good image or very bad image or something. So some quantitative measure should be there. But here I have not shown that results, how we have taken the quantitative measure. So this is the things. So this image earlier I have shown you, this is the aerial image, this is the radar set image. There is a big difference between the image and photographs. Image is based by the pixel by pixel. In radar, very simple principle, one wave we are transmitting. It is the interaction with the target, and then we are getting the backscattered signal. And this backscattered signal is because it is a radar wave, so this backscattered signal is very much dependent upon the dielectric property of the media and the roughness of the media. People are very much worried how much percentage of dielectric and how much percentage of the roughness, because we are getting one scattering. So as personal my experience, I used to tell everywhere, 80% of the things, result signal is depend on the dielectric, and 20% only we are working for the roughness. So sometimes people are very much worried, you have not taken this type of roughness, or you have not taken this type of roughness. So I have asked one question also, how much complexity we are increasing to get the more accurate result. If we are accuracy is 1% and complexity is 20%. So personally I don't feel that I will go for that one. So therefore, so this is the very basic image. This is the 20 July 2002, and you can see that this is the radar image, this is the aerial photograph. It is very similar. This is the Mississippi River and all other things we can mark. I don't know, resolution is little poor. So techniques which I am applying, classical chain detection approach, why I am applying the two techniques to cross check. What the results we are getting by the one technique or with the other technique, we are getting the same point of changes or not. So we have applied more than 4 or 5 techniques, but the two techniques gives the very encouraging results. And this is the SAR interferometry, for that reason only I came here. So this is the pre-processing radar. If you will see the image came, raw data came, then a lot of problems, how you can remove the noise, how you can georeference it, how you can calibrate it. So I will show you what are the problems we are facing to solve all these things. Oh shit. So georeferencing, this is the basic structure, georeferencing. Then this beta naught or sigma naught is known as the scattering, what the back scattering we are getting. Then the co-registration is also a big problem, geometric connection. So georeferencing, I am not going in detail how we are doing georeferencing. Georeferencing means image, the data don't know what is the latitude, longitude we are here. So we are giving some GCPs, ground control points, and then we are doing the georeferencing. Then the most important thing is the beta naught or sigma naught, that is the scattering coefficient which we are getting. This is the formula for the beta naught. This is the formula for the calibration. What the result we are getting, because if you see that this beta 0j is the calibration constant, so we are getting this one. Then most important thing is the geometric correction. I will show you. If you will see the papers in IEEE or any papers, so these type of details you will be not getting. They are just going through the results. So I used to tell to all my colleagues or all my friends, IEEE papers may be one of the reference paper, but maybe not the landmark. So a lot of speakers, IEEE may be a reference paper, because every IEEE paper we are sorting out what are the assumptions or what are the drawbacks of that paper. Therefore, research is going on. So maybe that is a reference one. So if you will see that, in that image we have cut one portion, for example water bodies. If you will see that, this is the January 2003, 5, December 5, January 5, December 5. We have taken 6 or 7 samples. If you will see that, all the sigma naught value except this green one for any water bodies is approximately in the same range, but this green one is the different one. So it cannot be due to the, if this green sigma naught is scattering coefficient what we are getting. So we cannot say that this is only due to the changes, but it may be the geometric distortions. We have for particular that image green one December 2005, what we have done the geometric geocalibration, that is the wrong one. So we have done the geometric calibration, and after geometric calibration you can see that all the 5 or 6 images, sigma naught is the first basic property by which we can say that what would be the scattering parameter, what would be the radar back scattering for water bodies or for the urban areas or for any area. So there are 2 methods. That is, the first one is the mean ratio detector, second one is the correlation coefficient. This is the formula for the mean. It is based on the image quality, mean ratio detector. The most interesting thing, what we are, first we are, because we don't have any ground truth, very few ground truths are there, so what we are doing, we are doing, we are applying the synthetic images. This is the first image, then there are some changes, and after MRD we are getting the changes. Similarly for the correlation coefficient also, this is the formula for the correlation coefficient. Again we are doing the same thing. You can see that in first image only 2 spots are there. In second image this is the changes we have occurred, because our aim is to get the changes, so we can get the changes. So this is the third one, is the PCA based parameters. PCA, as I have mentioned earlier, why we are using, once we have a more than, because now we have a, because we are interested to get the temporal changes. Now we have more than one images. So which one is the best one, or which parameter which we can take as best one? I will show you one, how we are optimizing the window. We have started, here I have shown only 3, but we have taken up to the 9 by 9 and 11 by 11. July 2002 to 2003, 2 images, then 3, 4 and all other things. Then the temporally we have analyzed it, and then we have applied the PC, and we can get the final change detection map. I will show you the results. So this image I have already shown you what is the master and slave images. So once you can see that change detection map, how the window, just this slide just I want to show how the, if we are changing the window size, what is the effect of the window size 3 by 3, 5 by 5, 7 by 7. As we are increasing the window size, our changes gets reduced, but I don't know either it is correct or not correct, but just I want to show that. So resultant change detection map is very much dependent on the window size, therefore we have used the, to get. So the most interesting thing for this, why we have applied the PCA, because once we are saying, if we are getting the maximum false alarm, what does it mean? It means we are getting the maximum result with a lot of false points. If we have a very low false alarm rate, that is the thumb rule, if it is a very low false alarm rate, for example here, then there is a big possibility we cannot get the actual point. So we have accommodate all the 3 by 3, 5 by 5, 7 by 7 and 9 by 9, and for the PCA. So first what we have done, this is the first MRD, mean ratio detector based change detection map, between 2 to 3, 2 to 5 in here, 2 to 4, 2 to 6, and you can see that we got some changes. This is red point shows the changes for the different years. Then we have applied the correlation coefficient based change detection map, and you can see that this is maybe one of the reasons to the image quality. 20th July 2 and for 4-year change detection, very good changes we are getting. I will show you some reference result also near the water bodies. So red, green and yellow represents correlation coefficient values between 0.3, 0.3 to 0.7 and 0.7. So if it is a red one means less correlated. Less correlated means there is a big change. If it is a fully correlated, then correlation coefficient will be 1. Sorry. So we have what we have done. We have done the using the PCA for all the images. Then we can get green is showing no changes, blue is moderate changes, red is significant changes. So if you will see that this is the lake, and lake a lot of surface waves are there. If lot of surface waves are there, so always you will be getting the maximum changes. So this is therefore this red point is showing the changes, and here it is nearby the water bodies we are getting the changes. So again, that question is very important for the end user. Which map should be taken as a change map? So choose a single change detection map, taking mean of all maps, extracting most relevant information was the major problem. So we have again applied the fusion for the all 3 principal components, what I have shown earlier in the slides. And final change detection map, after PCA we have done this. So we have done some thresholding. This is the final results. This is not showing the how much changes is there, just it is showing the either some changes or not. So what we are saying that all the red points what we are getting, this is the river, all the red points what we are getting, this shows the magnificent changes. And once we have overlap, this is the green image, is the radar image which we have applied after the all the work, and this is the lower one is the Google aerial photograph. So if you will see that we have compared, and this one near the river bodies or near the water bodies we are getting the changes. And once we have applied for the whole image, what I am interested to show, this paper is the landmark paper in 2005, Nature paper. In Nature they have published this one, and we have taken as a reference to this one. If we will see that in Nature they are getting changes here and here, because first our aim is to get the changes, either we are with our process or our proposed things, either we are getting the same changes or same place changes or not, because maybe this point can shift here and there, then it will not work. So we are getting approximately the changes in the same area. So once we are getting the changes in the same area, so we can apply, because with photograph we can get the 2D response. With the SAR interferometry, as I have mentioned, that we can get the 3D response. So principle of interferometry and application, this we have already known that this is the, for any radar we are knowing that one transmitter and one same transmitter can use as a receiver, but here we are using two receivers, one transmitter but two receivers, because we need a path changes. And then I don't know, figure is missing. Otherwise, if we will see that this is the relationship, we are interested to get this h. H is the parameter, I don't know why figure is not coming, but with the last figure, h we can calculate what is the height in terms of the height of the sensor minus range cos theta 1 at what angle it is showing. And this is the one very important, everywhere you will see that this is the Mount Etna volcano, and this map is generated by the DLR Germany, and you can see that this fringe width is very important. Each fringe, the height accuracy is in the order of 10 meter, and each color, one cycle of the color represents an altitude change of about 45 meter. For the, so by this we can measure the height of the volcano. This, why I have shown it, how we are generating the fringe, with the fringe, how we can get the height information. So these are the principle. I am very, so I am interested here. There are three types of, sorry, last one, because the time is short, I don't want to show all the slides. Sit. So there are three types of, because for the interferograph, for the generation of the 3D map, there are three types of: a cross-track interferometry, a long-track interferometry, and repeat path. Repeat, a cross-track means if any plane or any satellite is moving, we have one antenna here and one antenna here. And there are two methods, and a long track, and either we can change the, with one antenna only we can use, because for the satellite it is a very big problem, how we can reduce the weight of the ongoing satellite. So how, if we want to use one antenna, then second time just we can change the incidence angle, and again we can get the different phases. And the third one is the repeat pass interferometry, that a satellite should, after maybe 15 days or 20 days, it should come to the same orbit, and then we can take the observation. So these are the three basic techniques for the, and you can see that if it is a spatial one, delta theta, if you are changing the theta, this is known as a cross-track, we can measure the topography. Temporal one means if it is a repeat path, then in repeat path it is very important that the satellite should return on the same orbit. And another most important thing is, we have to select so much time that a lot of temporal decorrelation is there, means a lot of changes may be occur due to the due to the rain or due to anything. So we have to take care. And third one is the with the same axis we have a two antenna. So this is the single pass, a cross track or interferometry. We have one transmitter, one receiver antenna. A long track, we have the same antenna, one receiver. Repeat pass, again, because we are interested to know what is the changes. I will show you the, another most important thing for this is this baseline, because we are knowing that we will get the perfect coherence map when the both wave is perfectly coherent, means amplitude and phase will be, if perfect, then only we are getting the perfect coherence map. So this is the things which we have to take care, and I will show you the last results. And then for the change detection, we are using the differential interferometry. Differential interferometry means one interferogram we have developed for the maybe July 2002 to the August 2002, and another for the change detection we have developed another interferogram between the two pairs, July 2003 to the August 2003, and then we are making the changes and we can get the changes. If you will see that a lot of things are there. We have the change 5 phase due to the topography, due to the prop, due to the scattering, due to the delta R. So the most important thing is, because what the roughness is there already there, how we can remove these things. This is also very interesting task, and we are very much interested to know what the actual changes due to any earthquake or any landslide or any subsidence. So we are very much interested to do this. So final, we are interested to know what is the changes in delta RD, and we can get by the lot of work after the selecting the baseline and all by 5D, because I want to just show how simple we can do any problem. Delta RD we are interested, 5D by lambda. Lambda is the wavelength. And information of the interferogram, contours for a pattern usually referred as the fringe pattern. This is the pattern. It consists of a dominant frequency in the range direction locally distorted by terrain height variations. So the most interesting thing is the last two. When the terrain variation is less, fringes spacing is large. More variation in height lead to narrow fringes. So these are the two things by which we can say that either height is increasing or height is decreasing. So I will show you some results. So application and methodology, everywhere we are trying to use it. Georeferencing already I have shown. Now image pairs are ready after this so much processing. Image pairs are ready for the interferogram. Now I come to the final formation of interferogram for study. We have selected in SAR image pair computer baseline. We have calculated. All these are the basic criteria what we have fixed after analyzing the 74 images. And then we got some surface deformation by interferometry. That is a D in SAR, 24 days. Then we have taken 1 year. And then interferometric phase due to the surface changes we have calculated. And that kind of things you can see that 2002, 2003, this fringes we are getting. 2003 to 2004 we are getting this type of fringes. I will show you the last result, this one. If you will see that 2002 to 2003, as I have already mentioned, once the fringe width is changing, it is changing the height. 2002 to 3 to 4, 4 to 5, 5 to 6. This already shows, by this method already shows that there are changes in the surface heights as we are going from 2002 to 3, 2004, because here it is a more wide, here it is a little bit more thinner, and then thinner, and 2005 to 6 we are not getting much more changes, and we have calculated the changes what we have occurred in 30 to 25 millimeter, 25 to 20 millimeter, and 5 to 10 millimeter in this range. So now we are verifying our results with the CSA people, and we are waiting for their. So fringes are getting narrowed from 2000 to 3, 4, and changes are more pronounced to 2004 and 5. So we can conclude what I have done. I have taken approx 20 minutes. So what I have done, first we have detected the changes where we are occurring the changes, then we have applied the new technique, that is the SAR interferometry. Now, it is not new. Since 95 rest of people are working, but in India very few person are working. So change detection map observed. So the most interesting concluding remarks is this one: phase due to topography can be separated using elevation data. Still it is a very big problem because a lot of roughness is there. What the roughness we are removing, either it is correct or not. Height displacement can be measured from the phase and can be corrected by taking reference points. Still we did not get any reference point outside the area of the change, and this is in progress. Okay, thanks for patience. If you have any question, you can ask, or my email ID is there, because we are a little bit short with the time.
I think take the time of this lunch time for question.
Yeah.
1 to question we can.
Sir, can the earthquake be predicted very in advance?
I have visited more than 14 countries. I can share my views. We are showing that we can predict the things, but for natural disaster, it is very true. Till now, we cannot predict it. Every time what we are developing, What I have seen that I have worked with the climate, global climate model and a lot of models, because I am very much interested to work for the end users. So what I have personally seen that we are making, for example, what I have make all the threshold, all the values with the 74 data, with the 2002 to 2007. But if any natural calamities, which is not any equation one, that is not a linear equation, non-linear equation, it is not fitted in any equation. So that is very difficult. So we cannot say that. We are trying, but we cannot claim that it has.
Sir, in newspapers I read that in future, southern part of India is going to be an island where tremors are going on.
What the history we have, you know, there are two kinds of people in the world. One people, I don't know how many here. One people are very much interested in statistics. They are making all the money. If you will see the maximum American people who is working in this area, I know personally in my area, a lot of people are working with the statistical analysis what they have in the future. But you know, there is one thumb rule. All the statistical analysis is very wrong. So keep in this mind. Therefore, what we are getting the results, that we are not sure. Therefore, I have, once any people are saying it is adaptive one, you cannot say that it is adaptive one, because till now I didn't see. Because every time we are tuning the thing. Once we are tuning the thing, then it is not adaptive. We are tuning the thing as our requirement. This will not work for the another image, this will not work for the another any processing thing. That is my personal experience of the 17 or 18 years. So therefore, if we will see that, if we will go, because in paper, IEEE paper or any paper, a lot of things they are hiding. Maybe any reason I don't know, but personally I know that person. I work with the Warner, I work with the Wisbech, I work with the Yamaguchi. When all the key persons of this field I have worked for the 2 years or 3 years for 1 year. So what I have smelled that, this is my personal feeling that with the history, it is very difficult to predict the nature. Okay, thank you very much.